Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to the Lexus LC 500. This car is absolutely stunning. I've been wanting to drive one of these for quite a while, and we just got one in on loan to test, and I literally just got this today, so I'm going to give you some of my first impressions. Right off the bat, the design I think is just absolutely gorgeous. I know Lexus is kind of pushing the boundaries with this front grille, but everything, all the lines, all the way that the lighting plays off of the shapes, there's so many little details, the quality of polish on the wheels, everything on this car, and the color is just gorgeous. You unlock it, door handles pop out and say Lexus. It's just little tiny details that add up and create for a really, really gorgeous vehicle. For some reason in the trunk there's a car cover. It looks like a pillow, but it's not. Not a whole lot of trunk height to work with, but that's the way it goes. Kind of looks like a forged carbon trim here. It says LC 500 right on the back. I kind of liken this design as a combination between a modern interpretation of a Toyota Supra and an Aston Martin. It kind of has all the right proportions, but it has this Japanese style design that is just, I think it's gorgeous. Now, the exterior isn't the only part that holds that level of quality and just overall appeal. The interior is almost as impressive, if not more impressive, than the exterior. All the fabrics, the design on these seats and the lines, and there's so much, everything flows, and it all kind of, it's this cockpit that's a little bit reminiscent of the LFA, and just, Lexus has been doing some pretty cool stuff with this lately. And here it's just such an amazing design study. Let's start it up. Nice little rev on startup. You get that on cold start and on warm start, which is nice. And to my surprise, this actually has a pretty decent exhaust note. It's quite a bit louder than I thought it might be. And that's just in normal mode. Beautiful Alcantara on the door trim. Got a little bit of storage space here. Just gorgeous flowing design on this. I mean, it's just, this is really something. This is as high quality of an interior I've seen on any $100,000 car. All the buttons in the interior, everything that you press, has a consistent level of weighting and feedback. Paddle shifters have a nice metallic. They're metal. They feel good. They feel like a lot of Lexuses with paddle shifters, but these are just a little bit higher quality. You know, things that you push, like the HUD button and the buttons on the steering wheel, they all have the exact same tactility and same weighting. Parking button, the handbrake hold button, everything here, it's a very consistent, cohesive feel to everything. It's quiet, feels really well bolted down and buttoned together. A little bit of room in there for manual and stuff. And everything, literally all the touch points are high quality. I don't see anything in here with questionable feel or quality. I mean, literally everything that you can see and put your hands on, it's gorgeous. So we'll give you a little bit of a walk around here on some features. You know, you've got this touch thing, mouse pad, whatever it's called, down here that controls the infotainment. I haven't really gotten used to this too yet, but so far it seems to be actually working a lot better than some of the other interpretations I've seen this on other Lexus models. So I think once you got familiar with this, it would be just fine. You can change the driving modes here. This is just a rotating toggle switch, so you can push in to go to normal. You'll see up puts you into sport, up twice puts you into sport plus. And then you can go down into comfort or eco. We're just going to start off in normal. And then over here you can turn traction control off by just pushing it in. And I don't know if we hold, that'll turn everything off. Transmission has a little bit of a different shift pattern here, so you go over and up to be in reverse. That'll show us a reverse camera. And then over and down to go back into drive. Like all Lexus products, they all kind of have consistent weighting to the steering and feedback and feel from the pedals. This is no exception, except it has a fantastic sounding V8 in the front. I mean, I think this is Aston Martin levels of engine sound. It is just, it's something else. And this is just in normal mode. We're not going crazy here. Downshifts are immediate. I haven't driven this a whole lot yet, so I'm not terribly comfortable with the transmission, but it's done a few funky things here and there. I think you have to maybe learn how to drive it just a little bit. It's not perfect, it's not a dual clutch, but from what I can see, just based on this day of driving it, it seems to be a pretty good 8-speed. Let's throw it into sport here. Or why not? Let's just go all the way into sport plus. We'll put it into manual. Manual is just down and back. It sounds so good. Back into drive, and we'll cruise at about 2,000 RPM, 1,800, 1,600 RPM at 70 miles an hour, 1,500 RPM. It just keeps dropping. Let's throw it back into Sport Plus though here. That was pretty fun. Test the brakes really quickly. Yes. Those massive calipers and rotors doing their job. This car is probably most fun in manual mode. Paddle shifters are pretty responsive. Sometimes it doesn't want to shift into first gear, but you have to be going pretty slowly for that to happen. Oh! That was kind of weird what happened back there. It's almost like it shifted for me, and then it bounced off the rev limiter when I didn't shift. You can just play this thing like an instrument. Just fantastic. Oh, man. So, not a lot of power. It's usable power. You can hear this car. You can wind it out. You can enjoy that engine note without doing crazy speeds. I really appreciate that. You know, I think so many cars these days have such high gear ratios. You know, you go at the top of second gear and you're already breaking the speed limits. And in this car, you can really just you can enjoy it. And you can drive it quickly, but you're not doing anything crazy. It's still no slouch. But, you know, it's not going to get you in a ton of trouble. This is definitely a car where the driving experience is the paramount focus. The whole overall, the feel of it, the look of it, the design language, the sound. Let's test handling here. Pretty nice grip around this corner. A little bit of safe understeer. That's to be expected. Of course, we're not in manual, so it's not going to be as responsive as... paddles aren't going to be as responsive as they are normally. One thing I do notice is the RPM display is a little bit faster. It's a little bit ahead of the actual engine note when it revs up and upshifts and downshifts. That may be there to kind of simulate faster shifts, or just kind of give you the satisfaction of, okay, my car is downshifting maybe just a little bit quicker than it is. I think ultimately the focus of this car is, and it's been said in other reviews as well, this is a GT car. This isn't the F-Sport. There's also a hybrid, which I haven't driven. But this is a Grand Tourer. It's an exercise in luxury, in design, in beautiful looks. This thing is really... I'm actually very, very impressed with this. For $100,000, I think it's worth it alone for just the looks and the interior design and the feel and the quality of these materials. You know, I was in the Acura NSX a few weeks ago, which is way more expensive than this car, almost twice as much. And the quality of the interior, the quality of the materials doesn't even come close. Now, granted, that's kind of a car that you're going to be buying and purchasing for the powertrain, for the torque fill, for that hybrid electric powertrain mated with the twin-turbo V6 in the back. And this doesn't have anything fancy. It's a 5-liter V8. You know, it's there's nothing really special going on here from an engine and drivetrain perspective. But what is going on is everything that you touch, everything that you feel and hear, and what goes on. I think this would make a heck of a GT car, a heck of a daily driver. You walk up to it and it's just absolutely stunning. You walk away, you can't help but stare. I've been getting a lot of looks in this car, and I don't really think people know what it is. Sure, Lexus had the LFA, but you don't see LFAs. No one drives them. They're all tucked away in garages. People haven't really seen anything from Lexus that's this drastic, that's this exotic looking. And And you may be able to get a kind of an idea for what it looks like in pictures, but in person, I think it's a truly stunning vehicle. I drive a lot of cars. I test a lot of stuff. It takes a little bit to kind of get me excited these days. And this car has me excited, at least initially. I may hate it by the end of the week, but right now I absolutely love it. There's also a heads-up display, a HUD up here where you can see how fast you're going, and your RPM and whatnot. This thing is so good. Really nice ride comfort too, very quiet in here. One thing I'm noticing is I'm not seeing the traditional Lexus cruise control switches here. So let's see, let's turn traction back on here. We've got radar cruise control. We can set our distance, our speed. It's going to hit the brake for us if we've got lane keep assist. Steering assist is inactive. We don't want that. Probably one of the biggest surprises for me has been just how good this car sounds. It really has a fantastic exhaust note. Kind of a combination between induction and exhaust. I'd say it's more leaning towards induction, and you just get the overall sense of just V8. It's fantastic. And once you get over 3 or 4 grand, the downshifts are just alright, so it's going to hold that. If you don't shift, it's going to hold the revs. Let's throw it into Sport Plus. When you're going for it, the shifts are actually surprisingly fast. I don't really have many complaints about this transmission. I mean, I think when you're just getting used to driving it, you might have a few funky things go on here and there where you're kind of getting a feel for how smoothly you can accelerate and this and that, but ultimately I think it works really, really well for what this car is. Alright guys, I'd like to do a follow-up on this video just because I'm curious to see how I'll feel about this car after a few days. Until then, if you have any questions, I'm going to post this pretty much right after filming it. If you have any questions, let me know, and hopefully I can try to answer as much as I can as they come in. But also stay tuned to Winding Road Magazine. We'll be posting some more videos on there, and we'll be doing a walk around and POV test drive and all that good stuff. But let's pull off here and take another look at the exterior of this. I'd also like to show you the engine bay as well. Oh, and of course, while we're here, we kind of have to do just a little bit of a pull here through the trees. Open up the windows. We've got this thing next to us here. Put it into manual. little traction control light flashing there between gear shifts. So this being a torque converter, you know, the harder you're into it, the quicker it's going to shift. If you're light throttle and you're shifting, it's going to be kind of a lazier shift, which I think is in tune with the character of this car. Let's park it here really quickly and just take another look. Alright. Got our backup camera there. Lines move as you turn the steering wheel. Try to park straight, not make a fool of myself. That rev limiter is insanity. Oh. You could wake up some neighbors in this car. Look at these tail lights. This is actually just one light, but because of the reflectivity in the lens, it looks like it's an infinity light where it just keeps going. It kind of gives it a three-dimensionality to the design. That's the little stuff. It's just stuff like that it's just cool. This is a really beautiful, just a really smooth space here in the rear 3/4 panel. Oh, I was going to show you guys the engine bay. You can see in the headlights here, it's just some details. Neat shape to the lights. Let's actually throw on the DRLs. You can see what those look like too in contrast. Or this is just auto actually. All right. Hood release is just right here. Very light hood release. One thing I noticed too is there's quite a bit of heat coming from this car all the time. There's the DRLs. You've got that signature Lexus Nike swoop or sweep or check mark or whatever you want to call it. Alright, let's open up the hood, show you what it looks like. This, I believe this is plastic. It feels plastic with like a faux carbon fiber weave. Whatever. This is kind of neat. A lot of ducting here. Such a smooth engine. I mean, man, barely any vibration from this. A little bit of taking from the direct injection. Wow. Alright, let's turn it off. I'm gonna go drive this some more. Gotta do my winding road video. Cool. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.